been sitting on the charts like a beach chair. My last album's been 52.
We're going to show you how to make this lovely table over here. Starts with a couple steps, okay? First, you got to collect your wood. I'm going to use some scrap pieces for examples of how you put together the table, and I will direct you in the right way. For now, we're just going to use scrap pieces so we don't have to waste more wood. I'm going to show you how to correctly cut a piece of wood. You take a C-square, a pencil, and once you line it up like this, as long as this side is perpendicular to this side, it makes a complete line or a 90-degree angle, and you make your mark. Alright? You make your mark, you find your safe cutting spot, make sure you're wearing your safety glasses, alright? You press firmly, you make your cut. Make sure this line right here matches up with that line. Make sure you're not going to cut your table, all safety precautions, no fingers in the way. After you have your board cut at a nice straight cut right here, you go over your table, okay? You see how there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 legs. You want to make sure all those cuts are the same length. So you got 8 legs, and there's 4 side structures. 1, follow me over here, camera guy. 2, 3, and then 4 on this side. The way it works is there's 2 of the same ones this way, 2 of the same ones this way, and then 8 legs out of the same. And then you have 2 tops. Your dimensions are made and cut. That's when you have to start assembling the table. The main way we assembled this table is right here. What you do is you have to make a drill and then screw it in. Before that, you have to put glue between the layers to make sure it's structurally sound. So we'll show you how to do that right now. Drill bit. Take these, make sure they're at 90. Whichever way you want to do it. Okay. Once they're at a secure 90, take your drill, make a nice pilot hole. Okay, so you got the drill ready. You take a couple screws, get your glue. Now, where you have that pilot hole, so you have that pilot hole made, you go through, you take your glue, you put glue on it. After there's glue on it, you close it down, put your screw in the pilot hole, and screw away. As you can see with the pilot hole, it goes right in without much effort at all. You know, we got that pilot hole right there with that screw. You want to make sure this is nice and parallel, just like over here on the table. You take it, it's almost like a perfect parallel right there, flush. So you want to do the same thing. These stops, obviously, these aren't cut to the right lengths, just because, like I said, we're using scrap wood. But in your project, you would make sure that there's 3 holes. Here, let's go over here, cameraman. 1, 2, and there's 1 hidden up right under there. And that'll all actually sync the pieces together. And then once you have your side pieces correctly made, on each side there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the same on the other side. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So it's just a matter of making it structurally sound. You want screws and pilot holes. Make sure you're putting in the proper pressure so you don't strip the screws, or else you ruin your drill bit and it's just going to be very costly. This is our mimic of the leg down there on that table. So the next step is actually to start sanding. So you have to go get your hand sander. There's this sheet. It actually sticks on right with Velcro. So you just got to plug that in and really start sanding. One of the key things you know is you got to wear safety glasses while sanding. With some woods, such as walnut, you want to wear a mask because it's not good for you to just inhale all day. Make sure your screws are flush in the wood so you can't really see them sticking up so it doesn't ruin your sander. And you want to make sure you round off all the edges. So I'll just give you a quick little example of how to sand. Like I said, all your lumber in your project is going to be a lot bigger and a lot bigger scale, so it's going to take a lot longer. But for my little small scale, just to demonstrate how you do it, it's just going to show you how it's done. So, you want to make sure it's somewhere sturdy so it's not going to move around. The sander does get a little hefty, and just one click of a button, and you want to make sure you get those edges rounded, just like that. So when the table's all done, no one can actually hit their head on it or scratch themselves. So it's actually a nice rounded and smooth. And actually, once it's all done, you actually see how smooth it gets, and you'll go in between layers. You'll start with 120, move your way up to 220, then to 320, and then I personally like to end with a 600. So this is a piece of wood after it's sanded with just 120. Cameraman, you tell me how soft this is. You give me a nice feel.
Wowzers.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. So I didn't sand this side to show you a difference. I know you can't feel it, but it's definitely a lot different. Once you actually get to it, you'll feel it too. Usually takes for a full board anywhere from 3 to 4 minutes to actually sand it all down. So take your time with it, make sure it's perfect. This is one of the most important processes. So after you sand, what happens is the sawdust fill all the air voids. And one technique that has always been taught to me is you take a little water, you lightly spread it on the wood. What this does is it swells up the wood, so it raises the grain. What I mean by raising the grain is, the grain is all like shredded down right now from all the sandpaper. If you put this water in it, the wood absorbs it and raises its grain. So if you keep doing it over and over again, it makes that wood grain really pop out. So this is one technique I've always used, and it's became very successful for me. Hello, Jake again. We finally waited for the wood to dry. The grain has risen, and I'm ready to sand it down with some 600 for the final one. Assistant? Thank you, sir. You know, when you're sanding, you don't really need to go as fast or hard, and it's just a nice level tone. Just gonna do a little rammer and make it nice and smooth, and it'll be a nice piece of wood when you're all done. Now with 600, you can really tell the difference. It's smooth as a baby's bottom. Cameraman, what are you thinking?
Oh man.
Yeah, it's nice, huh?
It is smooth.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you.
wow.
Thank you. Jake, back again. We're finally to the step of finishing the final poly. This is polyurethane right over here. This is clear gloss. You can get clear satin or you can get semi-gloss. Clear gloss is the shiniest. It's all up to you. You can make it look original or whatnot. Oh, assistant, how are you?
Oh, hey.
This is my assistant Ben. He's gonna help me on this last step here.
Wow.
So after it's all said and put together, glued, structurally sound, these top pieces should not be on yet because you want to poly both sides. So let's get to polying. Okay, so here we go with the first polying step. Now this is really where the color comes out, everybody. This is where the magic happens, all right? You really put it on there, you want to make sure it's even layers. Okay? In between layers of polying, you're going to want to use steel wool. And I know that sounds abrasive, but you want to get really fine grained steel wool. Once it's fully dry, it almost gets a wavy sensation to it. And you want to steel wool it to get those imperfections out, and it will not penetrate the layer of poly to wood. It'll only hit the poly, and then you re-poly it one more time to make it really nice. And now, you see on the edges, you want to make sure there's no drips. Make sure everything's covered, and it'll look really nice. Give it about 3 to 4 or 5 hours to dry, depending on the environment you're in, and you can start at it again. We'll show you that in the near future again. So the poly is finally dried. As you can see, I can put my hands on it. It's all right. There's still a couple spots that need to be touched up, but first we're going to touch it with some steel wool. Very fine steel wool, rip apart easily, almost like stuff used in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? So just go back and forth, not too heavy, very light, back and forth with the grain of the wood. Same with the poly. You want to go with the grain of the wood. So just light, couple seconds. When you're done, you want to make sure all of it's off. Make sure there's no dust on there. You want to make sure it's clean wood when you put that poly on there, or else it won't stick and it'll look almost like there's sparkles in it. You want to make sure it's nice and clean. Get that poly brush all dapper. Do another coat. You want to repeat this step at least 2 to 3 times. I usually like to go 4 just to get that extra shine, but that's all up to you guys' preference. And that's it for the final step. This is the final result of the table. I hope yours look similar. If not similar, you know, almost alike. The final step that you guys are missing is your 2 slabs on top still should be on the ground. So what you do is you lay your slabs upside down and you put your structure on top. Cameraman, cut on top for me here. And then you put brackets all around. These are little L brackets. I'll get you a little example up here. For what they look like. You just place them around like that. No need for pilot holes. You can screw them right in and you are finally done with your project. I hope you enjoyed my